Good afternoon. I am Alfonso Carrillo Espiazu, Principal Edge Solutions Architect at OpenNebula Systems, and I'll be moderating this session today. May Tranled, New Technologies and Innovation Manager at Vantage Towers, is joining me. May, thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here and share this webinar with you.
Today we'll explore how lessons from early edge cloud projects like Telefónica's on-life networks have shaped today's 5G neutral hosting and how OpenNebula and Vantage Towers drive this evolution. So with further to say, let's dive into some meat. Let's start by looking back briefly to where we all started. Back in 2017, 8 years ago to say it quickly, Telefonica launched the OnLive project with the goal to transform central offices into multi-tenant cloud-like edge data centers. It was an early start all over OCP infrastructure, utilizing open source solutions like the SDN from Open Network Foundation, and with the idea of enabling third-party IoT applications and low latency devices. The goal was to really see if everything could be mounted in virtual machines at that time. Containers were at the early stage. And OpenNebula was the core orchestration engine in that project. At that time, you might know, OpenStack was coming up, but it was not well suited for edge applications. So we wanted to minimize the footprint of the hardware, and OpenNebula we fit right into as the best approach. We were managing NFBs and edge applications right at the access network from a bridge at the customer's premises, both residential and enterprise customers. It was a pilot that lasted about 18 months. That vision directly set the stage for today's edge native deployments. We worked together with AT&T and Deutsche Telekom on setting the stage for what will become Telco Cloud, truly virtualized. May, let me ask you a question. As a tower company innovator, how do you see OnLife's principles applying today?
Okay, so what we see it is, well, as you know, Alfonso, OneLife supported multi-tenancy and also the edge as a service model. And from our side, we think that those will help us to host multiple operators and also help us to move towards the vision of the neutral hosting.
Great. Yeah, so we can see a clear evolution from what was a fixed line, a wireline operation, fiber optic driven, to what is today 5G neutral hosting. So OpenNebula, we quickly adapted to that, and we came up with a quite futuristic approach at the time, and now the vision of the company was that we should expand the telco to the telco cloud edge. So we put a lot of pieces together from virtual machines, containers, going all the way from edge servers to the public cloud and the company data centers. So we had to quickly adapt to the needs of our customers and partners' requirements, and that's something that OpenNebula can easily do. We quickly develop features to the platform in relative short period of time to adapt to the changing market and to the customer needs. Our conception of the Telco Cloud looks like
Alfonso.
You lost my.
Yeah, I was about to say I couldn't hear you. I thought we couldn't hear.
Okay. Where did I?
We're starting with the Telco Cloud. I think you were starting to explain the
Okay. So
the key components. I think the key innovations.
Okay, great. Things that happen in that direct, and moreover, previously to a long weekend. Yeah. So the company vision at the time was to evolving from on life network was to make an extension of the telco cloud edge all the way from edge servers, what we learned from on the previous project, all the way to data centers, which is important with the evolution to 5G, where you're going to have the core in a remote location. So what we did is adapt quickly to these needs. We were able to move to provide to host containers and to provide several tools, like Terraform and Ansible, to make sure that we could deploy quickly as the telcos required. So with this vision and the conception of extending as I said, the telco edge all the way, we moved into what we are doing nowadays with the collaboration of Vantage Towers, which is the neutral 5G operators hosting. Today's OpenNebula's Telco Cloud powers Vantage Towers' neutral hosting vision with three key innovations. First, virtual data centers, put it into the local into the edge infrastructure that isolate environments for each MNO, like we did an online for different users. And furthermore, we had the O-RAN compliance, CUs and DUs in virtual machines or in container clusters to replace proprietary hardware, cutting, we estimate, cost by about 30%, was that what the industry says today. And then the full Kubernetes integration in the 1KE tool that automates edge node deployments on a scale. For a minute, May, can you share how Vantage Tower operationalizes this?
Okay, so I think if we could get to this model of neutral hosting, this will help us to onboard new tenants faster and more cost efficient. As you were saying, Alfonso, you can reduce the hardware with the O-RAN compliance. And also for us, it will be also, if we reach that, will be much easier to deploy and also maintain. And of course, operate.
Okay, well, yeah, and what we perform a proof of concept at the University of Malaga IT's lab, and with a collaboration of ICE Wireless, and we overcome a few challenges, which a few challenges. We set up a real 5G environment with external antennas, and also with independent cores. We tested two operators hosted in the same infrastructure on the same server, not only the same infrastructure, but on the same server, which was quite interesting, but quite challenging. So the solution had to be with hardened edge computing infrastructure, O-RAN compliant, of course. We don't want to steer away from fully open solutions. It was integrated in such a manner that the infrastructure owner, a tower company, Vantage Towers in this case, could manage both instances, grant access, scale up and down the needs of the MNOs. So, and the aim, we didn't get to test it yet, but the aim is to provide third-party services on the same infrastructure and the same on a single site. So of course, this neutral hosting isn't without hurdles. May, what's Vantage Tower's biggest challenge?
So the biggest challenge, as you know, Alfonso, will be to get there, to be able to apply the neutral hosting for outdoors. We know that there is a neutral hosting for in building, but the first challenge is to have the MNOs to have the neutral host model, and then once we have that, I think. The other challenge will be the need of the automation to be able to scale it and manage it more efficient. So I think one of the challenges, as I said, it will be the neutral hosting and then the automation.
Definitely, and also the quick deployment, automating the deployments in such a manner that it is, they're remote sites, so there is limited access to them, and we have to have connectivity, landline connectivity to them. So those are challenges that we still have to look into. We're working on ways of utilizing the so well used artificial intelligence today, and building into the platform to make sure that we can enhance the way that we will deploy sites in the future, but not only applying to cell sites, but also to any remote locations that a telco or an operator or a telco tower company will have or will envision. For that, I think that's bring us to the next, to what's next on the One Edge 5G project. What are we aiming at? With EU funding, the One Edge 5G project adds AI-driven orchestration to predict traffic spikes, scaling on live as elasticity rules for 5G advanced. May, how does this align with Vantage Tower's vision, if you might say?
Yeah, I think these capabilities that you just mentioned, I think is mainly for benefit, primarily for the MNOs, because as you said, they will be able to dynamically allocate resources for events or for emergencies. So I think this capability will benefit mainly the MNOs.
Okay, as we can go over, in a brief, a little more detail on what the One Edge 5G project is. We're trying to build, integrating the functionality of 6G to improve the edge. We're working on how making use of open solutions will help to manage deployment of private 5G. And also we're trying to expand the cloud to an edge continuum through this new upcoming 6G infrastructure. So this is forward-looking activities that we're doing that will facilitate the distribution or the distributed management of the cloud edge continuum. And the future is open, and with an edge native platform like OpenNebula, I think we can fulfill what we had envisioned, we had set up to do in the early starts. Maybe we can move into some Q&As, if any questions from the audience. Oh, we have, I think, one question for Mai here. Mai, how do you think rural operators will leverage neutral hosting?
Okay, so neutral hosting, as I mentioned before, is not new. It's not a new concept for the operators. We know that in the UK they're using the neutral host for the in-building solutions, and they have created what is called JOT, the Joint Operators Technical Specification. So we think it will be the matter of time that the operators will also move to auto coverage, to macros, and so on. We believe that they will start, of course, first in the rural, first sharing, performing, like you said, the RAN sharing, and then move towards this neutral host concept. In my opinion, it will be more. It will be, as I said, the matter of time for the MNOs to get ready.
And a few weeks ago, you also mentioned that one of the tier one operators here in Spain was moving forward to open solutions. Is that a welcome from your point of view? Is that a welcome step?
I think it was really good news. I think. Because as you said, Alfonso, most of the operators they virtualize the core. We know that they virtualize that part, but then they are starting to virtualize the RAN. So the news from the operator last week or a few weeks ago, it was a good news because it means that operators are also looking at virtualize the RAN. We know that it's more challenging that virtualize the core because, as you know, you do have features that is real time, so it's more challenging. But to move towards the neutral hosting is for us is a good news, and good news that one operator is starting that journey, and we think that the rest of operators will follow. So good news regarding the RAN virtualization.
And what we did last the end of last year and during January, I think it was a very positive step also on integrating solutions of RUs and DUs and CUs running concurrently, as I said before, in a single server. And we didn't get to perform any real load testing, but it was a first step that I think that proved that open solutions can really mix and match and create new space for both private and commercial 5G deployments, advanced 5G deployments, and probably 6G. Do you agree?
Yes, of course. I think moving towards, like you said, the more open and decoupled solutions, it will help in the future for managing how the technology will evolve. Because if you do have more open solutions, it will be easier in the future to upgrade from 5G Advanced or 6G. So yes, totally agree with you, Alfonso.
And what would you ask different radio manufacturers, RU, CU, DU manufacturers? What do you think is still missing when we go into 5G or RAN and future 6G?
Missing. Well, as you know, as you know, that no, it's not missing. It's more about the challenge they have for the interoperability, because we happy that there are different vendors for the use for CUs for radios and so on, and they are open and also try to be compliant for the Open RAN. So that's the good news. I think what they are trying to do is also being faster to do this interoperability between the different vendors, because otherwise, even though we would like to deploy Open RAN or use an Open RAN, you still have a few combinations. So I think for your question is, yeah, I mean, somehow work together to have this interoperability between the different vendors of the different components. I think from the TowerCo side is more a goal to the MNOs rather than the vendors, because the MNOs are the ones that they need to be ready to go the next steps and go towards the neutral hosting. Technically, I think we can solve it, but then if we don't have the MNOs on board for the neutral host vision, then yeah, it's gonna be challenging.
Yeah, that's that's a challenge we're also facing. Some when we're talking to vendors, solution vendors on NFVs, radio access, all this, they're still not sure that they want to open completely their solution. And for us, that's something that we need more transparency, so we can clearly offer a platform where you can mix and match, and you can easily operate a combined 5G network with third-party solutions, where you can have multiple tenants concurrently being managed in a secure and sustainable way. So that's, we still find we have some difficulties on solution providers to agree that they can open the kimono and show us without being afraid of losing any intellectual property, which is assured that they won't. But still, there's some challenges there to be met. So yeah, I think that do we have any more questions from the audience? I think we're getting to the end of the. If not, there was. We haven't probably Francisco will be able to put it on the comments on the YouTube. We did. Oh, here comes a question. How does T-Mobile and Starlink satellite data connection play the missing point of 5G connectivity? Oh, that's a big question. Mai, you think that you can share some light?
Yes, I mean, it's a hot topic now because, as you know, now with the Starlink and the MEO satellites, before we geo satellites, we did have some, they did have some challenges of the connectivity and so on. But now with the Starlink, I think they will manage to cover it, areas that maybe the traditional vendors or the terrestrial might not be able to. So I think in my vision, it will be a complementary for 5G. So you will be able to provide 5G where the traditional vendors or MNOs cannot reach. And then when rural or challenges areas will be able to be covered with the non-terrestrial, they call it now. I don't know if I have answered the question because the question disappeared. So yeah, it was a point of 5G connectivity. Satellite data, yeah, play with it. Yes, for areas that it cannot be reached, I think it will be, in my opinion, of course.
And I know that in one of the projects we're working on, we're doing some NTN 5G and fiber connectivity trials to see how we can best manage this challenge. But it looks like it's a real opportunity to increase connectivity on remote access areas.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And also, as I said, the delays we have with the geo, you don't have it with MEO satellite. So I think it is, yeah.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay, I was mentioning that we did a webcast explaining in more technical detail how we achieved the concurrent MNOs running in the same server, and I think Francisco will can add it to the comments. Also take the opportunity to, oops, one more question. Okay, it's more a statement than a thank you.
Statement, right? Yeah.
Yes,
That
agreed. To close,
maybe the person could, or they could do a webinar for the non-terrestrial.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yes, time craziness would be good if you could help us on that end. We'll be more than happy to help you put it together. Okay, we'd like to help. We'll acknowledge the funding that we get from the Ministerio de Transformación Digital y de Función Pública here in Spain, funding the 1H 5G project. We will be publishing a white paper on the findings of the 1H 5G project at the end of June. So it'll be quite an interesting reading to see what the state of artificial intelligence in 5G, the use of the findings we're doing. This is an industrial project, so it's not a research. We'll be able to read what companies are trying to do on this area. Thank you very much for your attendance, and we will close the transmission right here.
Thank you. Have a nice afternoon, everyone.
Thank you. Happy holidays for those of you taking a few days off.
Happy Easter.